Evening, folks. Welcome to the View for your match day preview for Chelsea versus Leeds United. A little FA Cup special for myself on Stats. Joined always by LUFC Stats, Andrew Dalton. Andrew, how are you doing, mate?
I'm
Have
very
you
well,
come back
thank
down?
you. Wow, what a night Friday night was. First of all, shout out to the missus who celebrated her 40th birthday on Friday night at Ellen Road, and what a night. Just, well, yeah. I don't think I felt a noise as loud as that when Archie scored, and I'm giving the goal to Archie since Luciano Becchio scored against Millwall in the playoff final playoff semi-final back in 2009. Unbelievable atmosphere, unbelievable performance. They soaked up a lot of pressure, and all of a sudden they're breathing down Leicester City's neck.
Right. I mean, it was everyone who watches my channel will have heard enough of me talking about this game, or every opportunity I got this weekend to talk about Leeds. I was on Order No Better, or Not Another Leeds podcast, Go Show. I was like, wherever I could talk about this, I want to talk about it. So, haven't stopped smiling. It's been a massive relief for me personally. It was a fantastic moment just to get stress and everything off my shoulders, and I loved it. But it felt huge. I mean, it just wasn't going the way we thought it would go, and then it all went our way, just out of nowhere. And you could hear the relief in the stadium, and I think you could hear the relief from every house in every part of the world at that moment of Leeds fans screaming at their TVs. I said I traumatized my dog, and I may have shouted some things about a 17-year-old young man that I shouldn't have been saying about a 17-year-old young man. In the heat of the moment, I was very happy for Archie Gray, and it is Archie Gray's goal. I am very much a believer on. If the shot was on target, which it was heading in the bottom right-hand corner. It's the shooter's goal. I'm very disappointed that Sky tried very, very hard and very, very quickly to take that away from Archie. That was poor form, but that's Sky.
Yes. And they did.
So what was the atmosphere like in the ground, mate? After that, what was the whole vibe like after the game? Like, was it just complete euphoria, or did you get the calm?
I think obviously you heard I predict a riot at the end of the game on Friday night, which was absolutely brilliant from Lee Nicholson, the PA at Ellen Road, and I just think it felt like a very cut final atmosphere, and I hate using that terminology, but the performance at least put in there soaked up a lot of pressure. Yes, Leicester City had chances. Yes, Mavididi missed a couple of chances. Yes, Petendaka missed a couple of chances. Leeds had chances. Joel Piroe in the first half had a chance. Willie Gnonto cut back in on the left-hand side had a chance to hit it. So it was that kind of game. It was kind of a bit of a helter-skelter kind of game. Okay, Leicester, they probably should have had a second goal. That probably shouldn't have been disallowed. But at the end of the day, Leeds got the 3 points. It's a massive win for Leeds United. They are back in the race in the Championship. And all of a sudden, it just opens up a little bit. They are 6 points behind on a run of 9 wins. 9 wins is incredible in this league. First time since November 1931 that they've achieved 9 wins. Just bouncing. It's like you're going to every league game thinking you're going to win every single league game. And yes, they've got the summer matter of the FA Cup final rematch of 1970 on Wednesday night, which we'll come to very shortly. But just the whole place erupted. It was such a feel-good factor at the end as well. And I didn't want to go home. I literally didn't want to leave the ground. And that was what kind of that adrenaline. And I had that adrenaline on Friday. I didn't sleep that much on Friday night as well because I kept watching the highlights of the game, and so pleased to see Conor Roberts come off the bench and score. I'm still giving it to Archie Gray. I know Leeds United have given it to Archie Gray, so as far as he's concerned, I'm concerned he scored the goal. And then Patrick Bamford, who I thought actually changed the game with his wonderful runs in and out, and sort of brought Leicester players in and out of the game. Leeds deserved a victory, and it's a big victory because all of a sudden you look at Southampton dropping points again. I think they're hitting a little dip at the wrong time. Ipswich are bit that annoying thing that we can't seem to shrug off at the moment. I have to say,
conceding a lot of goals though.
They are. Fair play to Kieran McKenna. And he's done a wonderful job, and I hold my hands up because I thought they'd fall away. But at the moment, Leeds are in control of that second spot, and they've got a big 4 games coming up, I think, before the international break, obviously excluding the Chelsea Cup tie. They go to the John Smiths on Friday night. Sorry, it's not Friday night, Saturday morning for an early kick-off against Huddersfield Town. Stoke City Tuesday night, who are in all sorts of trouble at the wrong end of the table under Steven Schumacher. another Yorkshire derby in Sheffield Wednesday, who are kind of slowly turning the corner under Danny Roll. And then, should we get beat on Wednesday night against Chelsea, we finish the gap before the international break, the games against Millwall at home, who seem rejuvenated under Neil Harris. So, no game to give me in this league.
No.
We're on a wonderful run. I hope it lasts forever, because if it does last forever, we'll be in the Premier League. But if it doesn't last forever, then all of a sudden we're back, end up in the playoffs. And at the back of my head here is that 10-man Wigan game back in 2019 that everyone thought Wigan went down to 10 men, Leeds missed a penalty. We all thought that was a shoo-in. And all of a sudden Leeds go and lose. I think Gary Massey got a couple of goals that day for Wigan. And Leeds lose 2-1. So feet on the ground. Daniel Farke is doing a phenomenal job at Ellen Road. Absolutely phenomenal. 72 points at this stage is quite incredible for Leeds United Football Club. And yeah, it's all smiles. And if they can beat Huddersfield Town on Saturday lunchtime, it'll break a new record for Leeds United for most league wins in a row. And it'll also equal the record for the most league wins in the Championship, set by Reading in 2015-16. Sorry, 2005-6. Aston Villa 2018-19 and Burnley last season. But there's a lot of work to do. Feet on the ground. And I love the way Daniel talks in press conferences as well, and talks to Bryn on LUTV afterwards. Enjoy the win and you go again. Simple as that. And at the moment, that's what we're doing. We go again at Chelsea. I think it'll be a very changed side at Stamford Bridge on Wednesday night. And it's a game again I'm looking forward to, because there's no pressure on it for Leeds for this one.
Yeah, there is at all. You're dead right, though. I mean, and I keep saying it all season, step by step, game by game. Bazzy just throwing a comment there. Everybody needs to relax. Still a long way to go. There is, Baz. Absolutely. You're 100% correct. But what I will say is enjoy the moment.
Yes.
Do take some time to enjoy the moment. We've been through an awful lot of Leeds fans over the last 4 years. And I think it's important that when you get these moments to actually take a second, relax and enjoy the moment. Go and enjoy it. But I completely agree with the sentiment. He's also said we were long overdue, that kind of look. Yeah, we were. I think it was like somebody worked it out. There was 12 penalty shouts that have gone against Leeds this season that should have gone in favor of Leeds. So we were long overdue that kind of look. But look, it is what it is. It's about taking that moment. We got the result. I think this game possibly comes in a good moment in one sense. Because this is the hangover game from the adrenaline rush from Friday night, where it's not a league game that you're going into. This could be a leveler as well. Get the heads back on. Then you go into Huddersfield. Huddersfield seem to be trying to hype up the game at the weekend for reasons I don't know why. Trying to create a local, and it is a local derby, but trying to create more buzz around than I think there probably would have been in normal circumstances. The chairman and the new manager both making comments about Leeds this week as well, where Leeds are just not even talking about them at all. So strange one, but look, it is a game I think just to break it up a little bit, give us a chance to reset. You know, maybe a couple of other players will get some game time. We'll get to that as well. Just real quick, we got a super chat in. Thanks very much as always, Abdul Rahman. Hello, Jer and fans. I really pray that we don't risk all of our main players. We should be fresh for Huddersfield. The FA Cup can wait for another season. Play young Cherry Creswell and Jamie. And the likes of Anthony. I think that'll happen. We'll get to that in a second. But it's it's really interesting one. We'll get through the form guide. We'll go through the team news as always. We'll go through a couple of stats because stats is here. Why would we not talk about stats when you're here, mate? It's the whole point of having you here, you know? Look, it is what it is. It's a good game. We got the 3 points. We move on. Again, Daniel Farke, very calm, very composed, very relaxed afterwards. A bit more of a smile on his face than normal. I think it was said on Or to Know Better during the week that, again, it was inadvertent comments towards, like, yes, I think Chelsea will finish. Yes, I think Leicester will finish in the top 2.
Yes.
Not necessarily as champions. But yes, I think Leicester will finish in the top 2. Inadvertent kind of comments about them. But we will have to wait and see what happens. There's a long way to go. 12 matches left. The international break just comes in the middle of the whole lot and spoils the momentum on all of us. It just takes it away. Look, I'm Irish, so I have to watch the Ireland team in its current state. And I don't want that break. I don't want that break. I want us to keep this train moving until the end of the season. But maybe it'll be a chance to, again, work on a few bits and pieces that we need to be worked on to get that final push to the end of the season. So, in terms of form guide and getting into this, as you've already said, Andrew, Leeds 9 wins in a row, second in the Championship, the most winningest team in Leeds United's modern history, at the very least, and very close to being the most winningest team in Leeds United history, which is, again, crazy to think when you realize the start of the season that Leeds had. all of the issues that went on behind the scenes with the takeover, late getting the manager in, late getting players in. If someone had told you that at the start of the season that Leeds would be setting records by this stage of the year and sitting in second place, I don't think anyone would have believed you.
It's funny because I save all the Football League shows from the start of the season, and I've got it on Series Link on ITV. And I watched back the Birmingham City game back in August, and we had so many problems back then. We didn't know who was coming, who was going. I think Joe Ronan came off the bench to make his debut, and it was a real poor performance. And obviously we got beat in the last minute by a penalty kick. And at that point, we had 1 point from 6. And you look now, and you fast forward 30 odd games later, the difference is chalk and cheese, and it's quite incredible. It is absolutely quite incredible where we are as a football club from where we were in August, and the job Daniel has done is quite remarkable. And if he gets us up, he deserves all the credit in the world. Yes, we'll worry about the Premier League next season, but the job that he's done is phenomenal. And to be unbeaten at home after 19 games in all competitions, which is just one behind Liverpool and England. It's more than Real Madrid. It's more than Manchester City. I think it's the second best in Europe out of the top 5 leagues and the top 4 leagues in the Premier League in England. So, yeah, it's remarkable. You've got to take a deep breath because there's a lot of football to be played. There's a lot of twists and turns. And all of a sudden, Leeds are being hunted now. They're not the hunter, they're being hunted. And that brings its own different kind of psychology. I know Daniel had the feet on the ground. I know the Huddersfield game is the next game on. And deep breaths. It's exciting. I don't want an international break, but I do want an international break because I think we're going to have to rest some very tired legs come the international. And we're going to lose probably the 4 Welsh guys, Roberts, James, Ampadu, and Rodon, because they've got I think a Euro qualifier coming up. I can't remember who it's against. If anyone can remember, I think it might be
himself, actually.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. So, yeah, it's a big few weeks and it's great. It's great to be involved. I'll worry about the Premier League if we're there. Just one thing. Someone put a tweet that was very interesting that the Championship's actually more enjoyable than the Premier League. And I can see both sides of the story. The chase is fantastic to get into the Premier League. And that moment that you do get into the Premier League is unfathomable. And I know that was kind of taken away from us back in July 2020 because of COVID. However, I don't want to become a Sheffield United or a Burnley in the Premier League. And I know we won't because I know what the 49ers will have their heads screwed on. They'll have lists for players to come in if one league and lists for players to come in another league. And I think we'll be very, very prepared for it. That's for another day. But at this moment in time, I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm bouncing with everything. It's great fun to be part of it and watch the games and go into a game think you're going to win. The Huddersfield game will be very difficult. They've got a new manager who's just come in from Germany. Their owner put a tweet up, which I don't know if you saw, on Saturday or Sunday when he blocked out the E's on Leeds, which I find quite childish.
It's very childish.
For a grown adult to do that. But it just kind of flew the flames, doesn't it? The Leeds will
Did they not learn the lesson, Andrew? Did they not learn the lesson? His comments. I said, and again, I said this before the game. I said it after the game, and I said it when I coached and when I managed, and when I was a player and I was coached by some really good managers. Don't ever give the opposition any other motivation to win a game outside of the 3 points. Don't give them an extra, and they keep doing this thing. So look, it is a big game. Because it's not 3 points. Every game between now and the end of the season is a big game for us because it's 3 points ahead towards the end of the season. Interesting international breaks as well. I'm just looking at the dates here. March 18th to 26th. Friendlies.
Yeah.
I wonder, would there be any niggles before that international break? Because I don't think we'd like to see 4 Welsh players go off and come back injured.
No.
The Irish lads drop like flies before friendly internationals.
Oh, yeah. The old adage is Ryan Giggs dropped out of a lot of Welsh friendlies, didn't he, when he was at Manchester United? I don't want to see any players injured. We're coming back after, what have we got left? 12 games. After the international break, obviously, depending on what happens on Wednesday night, you'll either have 8 games or 9 games left to play between now and the end of the season. every game is humongous. We've got some big games coming up. The likes of Hull City.
Sorry, Wales is a Euro qualifier, apparently.
That's it. Yeah, they've got a qualifier. And
Thanks,
then I
Dave.
think they've got 2 qualifiers. I don't know if one's straight after the other because they've got a semi-final before they get to the final. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Leeds players pulled out. However, you do want to go and represent your country. And I know the Welsh players are very, very proud to represent the country, as I would be as well. So, yeah, it's big. The whole situation, the next 12 games, is just humongous. But I think it's a question of now, Chelsea on Wednesday night, see where we're after that. The last thing we probably need is extra time against Chelsea because it has to be a finish on Wednesday. There's no replays on Wednesday evening. And then we look ahead to the big one, the Yorkshire derby against Huddersfield Town at the John Smiths. It's a game I'm desperate. I want to win every game. I just want to win every game. We want to break 93 points. I want to get 100 points. It's never been done in Leeds United's history. And long may it continue. But it's a massive buzz around Ellen Road. The whole place is buzzing. You talk to people around the ground. It's just wow. And the atmosphere, as I say, when I left on Friday, just, yeah, I didn't want to leave the ground till midnight because I could just feel the energy from the place, from the fans, from the songs, from the players. Phenomenal. And let's see. I know runs don't last forever, but this one just might. And if we do last forever, we'll be in the Premier League in August. Can't see that.
How many points did the EPL hand? Oh yeah, this is just based on Manchester United getting stuff in their favour. Nathan Jer, cut your life for once. Nice to have you here, mate. What position is George's horse going to play? I saw the video of Georgino. Do you know what was funny? I tried to do a short of this, and I was trying to edit it last night, and it was funny in my head. And when I started editing, I was like, yeah, it's not funny. So I stopped editing it. But it was, do you remember, it's a Little Nicky, one of the Adam Sandler movies where he has the kid.
Yes.
And he's doing the whole, fish, pony, hip hop anonymous, the thing. And I saw Georgina Rutter at the Flamingo Land video that Leeds did, and him saying hippopotamo, hit the potamo, hippopotamo. So I was like, if I could clip that together properly, it's a great video. But I couldn't, so I stopped. But I love the man. I love him. He makes me smile. I love him smiling off the pitch. I love him smiling on the pitch. I want him to do well every time I see him playing. So and the horse video as well. See how close that horse was with him as well. He gives off positive vibes. Even animals can feel it. So yeah, love him. We'll get into some for the Chelsea game, I suppose. We should probably get to that at some point tonight. To preview for Chelsea. You were going to say something there. What were you going to say?
Isn't it great to see the players smiling?
Yeah.
We've not had this in the past where even last season it just felt, I don't want to say a split camp, but it felt like a bit of a difficult camp to deal with, so to speak. And this time round, it's brilliant. And the whole place is buzzing, Jay. And okay, we might have the odd bump in the road, but at the moment, it's very, very enjoyable.
Yeah. Brenda just saying there, does LUFC Stats have a YouTube channel? Not yet, but you're planning on something.
I'd like to. I always get worried that no one will watch. So
I always say this, Andrew.
Yeah.
If 10 people watch, it's worth doing. Because if 10 people turn up at your front door to listen to you talk about football, that's a nice group of people. If 100 people turn up at your front door to talk about football, it's a great group of people. It's a lot of people. So you've lots to say. If you can check, if you don't follow Andrew already at LUFC Stats on Twitter, you'll get all your pre-match and post-match stats that go on consistently. Some fantastic nuggets of information that Andrew gives out, and Andrew also does commentary for the Leeds. Is it the hospitals in Leeds?
It's hospital radios, and it's absolutely brilliant. And I love doing it. I love watching the games. I love my statistics, as people probably have now found out.
Bryn-Law's go-to man.
Yeah, and it's nice when I see my statistics used elsewhere. And Craig Wilson, I must give a massive thank you for the stuff he does on the social media with the stats that I send him and what have you. And I'm just so grateful for everything. And I want to give a massive shout out to Jordan Owens, the press officer, Ellen Road. Absolute legend. One of the nicest games you come for. Always helps me out if I need anything. And I can't thank him enough for what he's done for me over the past 2 to 3 years since I've got to know him. Really, really nice guy. And I think the world of him, and Craig and Adam as well. And the whole press team at Ellen Road. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Craig Wilson's tweets.
Yes.
I love them. I love them. Droppy just saying it's X, it's not Twitter. Yeah, you can call it X or you can call it Twitter. The website is www.twitter.com. So
Yeah.
I'm not giving Elon Musk his X, so I'm gonna keep calling it Twitter until it closes. Sorry about that, mate. Love you, but
Yes.
I'm gonna keep calling it Twitter.
You do,
All right,
right.
or whatever he changes the name to next week. Leave it like that.
You do, right.
So we crack on then. So team news wise, we got some good news, we got some bad news. I think there's a bit of wrapping lads in cotton wool, but this time Patrick Bamford has a minor calf problem. Just felt it in the game, probably in the celebrations after the third goal as well. So he probably won't be involved. Chris Somerville rolled his ankle, so precautionary with that as well. It was said in the press conference today that it seems to happen an awful lot with Cree. I think it's the kind of player he is. He's constantly on the outside of his foot, the kind of runs that he makes, and he gets kicked a hell of a lot. So understandable. Sorry,
I think if you're Daniel Farge, you look at this game and you think, what have I got for Chelsea?
Yeah.
What have I got for Huddersfield? Huddersfield's the bigger game because the Premier League is the be-all and end-all of getting out this league and getting into the Premier League. And if we bow out gracefully on if we bow out gracefully on Wednesday, which I probably think, and I'm not trying to sound negative by saying that, I just think Chelsea will come with a point to prove. They'll come after the disappointment of the cup final in the game they really, really should have won against Liverpool yesterday, and I think they'll have a massive point to prove against Leeds United on Wednesday evening. And I think if you have got any bumps, any bruises, any niggles, you rest them. Simple as that. You rest them. This isn't the game, as far as I'm concerned, to pick up any injuries. This is the game. Okay, it'd be great to test ourselves out against the likes of Chelsea, but with a fuller squad. And I think the game being played on a Saturday afternoon, like it should be with the FA Cup, I think it'd have been a different kettle of fish. And I think you probably would have seen a different team. However, that's not the case. The games are being played over tonight. I think Coventry actually kick off against Maidstone shortly, in all honesty, and what have you. So yeah, it's a shame when the planning of the FA Cup is. I don't agree with having FA Cup on midweeks because to me, I'm a traditionalist. FA Cup to me should be
3 p.m. Saturday afternoon.
3 p.m. on a Saturday. Of course it should. Of course it should.
Also,
unfortunately, it's not.
It would also solve problems, wouldn't it? Like, I mean, there's some serious issues around security tomorrow night. There's risks of problems to get at the ground on Wednesday night. There's risks about that. There's extra police being brought in. There's a reduction in ticket allocation. You do that on a Saturday afternoon. That risk is far less than it is. So you've kind of put yourself into a position where you've created. Yes, there's people who shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. Yes, I completely understand that, and I get it. There's people that ruin it for everybody else. But you remove that element if you put it back as traditional kickoff time to a degree, So, but
I'm a traditionalist. The FA Cup was something I grew up on, and it does feel like it's been a little bit devalued, unfortunately. It is what it is because the money's in the Champions League and getting into the Premier League and staying in the Premier League. However, it should be 3 o'clock on Saturday or 5:15 kickoff, but it is what it is. We have to go there with, I think, probably a bit of a injury hit squad, but Daniel knows what he's doing. He knows the Huddersfield game, and I could tell in his body language that his game, he said kind of things. We've got bigger things to focus on.
We do.
Yeah, Huddersfield for me.
Also,
go on.
Also, I was going to say, this is an opportunity for the players who've been waiting for their opportunities to get game time. This is massive for them. So even with resting a couple of players or taking a few players out of the firing line, the players that are coming in should be hungry. They should want to prove a point. They want to put in a performance. So I don't think it drops off that much. I think, Dan James probably gets a start. Although I would like to rest Dan James as well. And
I'd rest them all if I could. I would. Yeah, but I don't think we're in that position to rest them all, unfortunately.
No. Well, I think we're going to see Bamford looks like he's out. Somerville looks like he's out. Yeah. Daniel James has a bit of a bruising one of his legs, but they said it's very slight, but he is in contention. Jorginho Rutter has a hip flexor issue, late decision. But Sam Byram is back in training and is back in contention for the game as well. Yes. As you've already said, it was said in the press conference, Daniel Farke is focused on the busy period ahead. He has pointed out that we have bigger games ahead of us coming up. The 4 games in 10 days specifically, again, calling out the fixture schedule and the the issues that the EFL have created with their fixtures in the sky, also moving games around.
Yeah.
He was also asked about the Chelsea defeat yesterday in the Cup and saying, will that help Leeds? And he doesn't believe that it will help Leeds. Chelsea will have to bounce back from this. There's a lot of pressure on them. A lot of things were said on Sky Sports yesterday about Chelsea as well that they will want to react to as well. And they will have players that I think will come in. I mean, I think you're likely to see Mudryk start. I think you're likely to see Madueke start. I think Cuckoo start as well. And you've got Trevor Chalobah. All the players that came off the bench yesterday, I think, are in line to start. They also have big games ahead of them outside of the FA Cup. They're 11th in the Premier League. Pochettino needs to get that team moving up the table in the league. It's currently one place below where they were this time last year. They're 10th last year. They're 11th now. So he needs to get that. There's a lot of different types of pressure on Chelsea, and there's slightly different pressure on Leeds. Leeds need to focus on the division and getting out of this division. Chelsea need to improve their league position and try and get into Europe if they can, because they've spent a lot of money and they've been 2 years without top 6 finishes. And if that goes into the third year, FFP is going to really, really hurt them without that Champions League money, without that European money as well. So different kinds of pressure stats.
I think it's the kind of game that both sides could probably really do without, if I'm being honest. Leeds, obviously, for the reasons that we've said there, because to me, promotion is the be-all and end-all this season. Chelsea have probably got bigger fish to fry, but I think with the game being so close to the Huddersfield Town game on Saturday, if you had to ask me what I prefer to win, the Leeds game, the FA Cup game or the league game, it'll be the league game 100 times over, because if we don't go up this year, you don't know what happens to the squad. It might be a case that some players decide to go. You don't know. You don't know how the squad looks next season. Chelsea have got a London derby at Brentford on Saturday. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff, and they've not got far to travel. Leeds have got the travelling implications of coming back from London late on Thursday, or late on Friday, Wednesday night, Thursday morning, wherever they come back from. And then they've got less than 48 hours to prepare themselves for a humongous Yorkshire derby at Huddersfield Town. So, I think team selection will be interesting. I won't be surprised to see 6 or 7 changes and then go from there, really.
I think because Liam Cooper come back into back as well. I think the back line that was thrown up here a second ago, which I've lost already, gone. Where did I put it?
It's gone.
It's gone. I think it was Connor Roberts right back, Charlie Creswell, Liam Cooper, and Shackleton, or something like that.
Yeah,
but I think it's possible.
I've been asked
Cooper,
this a lot today. Connor Roberts can play. The reason he couldn't play against Plymouth in the replay is he was signed too late after the first game, but he can definitely take part in the game at Stamford Bridge on Wednesday evening.
Yeah, Jason O'Keefe put it there. Back for tomorrow. Byron Cooper, Rodon, and Roberts. Very possible as well. Yeah, Connor Roberts can. I think it's a good chance to give Connor Roberts a run out to get him, starting a game and give him a crack at that. But again, he's one of those players that will come in and want to prove something, and he's been excellent since he's come off the bench in the games.
He changed the game on him and Patrick Bamford. Changed the game on Wednesday evening, and what a game to come on to and get your first goal for the football club. So all very positive. I just feel Chelsea, and I don't want to sound negative because we're on a magnificent run, but if Chelsea were to beat us, it won't be the end of the world at all.
No.
As long as we get a result, Huddersfield Town on Saturday lunchtime, it all goes well for another big game against Stoke City, and then, of course, another Yorkshire derby against Sheffield Wednesday before our old adversaries from London against Millwall in a couple of weeks' time.
Question for you, mate. You might have checked this one out, but was 68-69 the last time Leeds were unbeaten at Ellen Road in the season?
They didn't go through. I think they actually lost one game at the end of that season off the top of my head. I think they'd already qualified for virtually everything. They'd been in the League Cup final. They'd been in the... I think they've been in they qualified for the Intercities Cup final. And I think Liverpool came. I'm just trying to work this out on top of my head. I'm doing this without actually looking at anything. So I'm literally trying to do this completely off the top of my head. I'm sure Liverpool came to Ellen Road in 67, 68 and beat us. So I don't actually think we ever had a full season. I'm just going to try and work this out on top of my head. I'm doing this literally off the top of my head. I might be wrong because it's easy to get fixture wrong. Liverpool came to Ellen Road and beat us on the 4th of May, 1968. But that is the record. I think we went 32 games unbeaten that season because we'd qualified into his first cup, because we qualified for the League Cup final as well, and we got to the FA Cup semi-final. We had a lot of home games, but that is our club record, 32 games unbeaten. We've never gone a full season in every competition unbeaten at Ellen Road. So that is one to keep an eye on if we are unbeaten and there are only a few games between now and the end of the season.
That's a really interesting question there as well. How many promotions? Who would Farke break Neil Warnock's record of most promotions? Just checking most promotions. He has, no, he won't. Not by a long way. He has 8 promotions in total.
Neil has 8. His incredible record. Yeah. And the only team he couldn't do it with was Leeds.
Us. Imagine. He was. Do you know what? When he came in, I know a lot of people weren't happy to see him coming in. But when I saw him come in, I went promotion.
Do you know what? If you ever see a clip, there's a clip on YouTube that I got collared by the Football League show that day by the BBC when Neil came up, and I think the words that I used were, "Neil will take us up. If not this year, it'll definitely be next year." Didn't quite work out that way, did it? Sorry.
Didn't. No, it didn't at all. He's some man. He's some man.
Fair play to him, and I know he's not having it all his own well at Aberdeen at the moment, but the career that Neil Warnock has had is quite incredible.
Yeah. Rad is off to watch Coventry and Maidstone the Cup on the television. Correct, it is starting soon. Liam in the chat is there as well. So Chelsea team news: Wesley Fofana out with a knee injury. Reece James is out with a thigh injury. Cucurella has a foot injury. He is back in team training though, and he could possibly be involved in some capacity, although it looks like it's fitness training he's doing more than anything else right now. And Thiago Silva is also back in team training as well for them. In terms of other stuff for the game, we said about Leeds looking to reach the FA Cup quarterfinals for the first time since 2002, 2003, mate. That's 21 years ago, and it can't be because 2002 is like, what, 5 years ago, isn't it?
Frightening.
20 years ago. What happened?
It's frightening when you come to think of that. I remember we beat Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. Gary Kelly scored a free kick early doors, and an Australian who I'm not going to mention because he's not one to remember. Great player, just off the pitch. We all know what happened. And then we went to Sheffield United. I only will talk about Neil Warnock there. I went to Bramall Lane. It was in March 2003. Sheffield United riding high in the first division. Had reached the League Cup semi-final before being beaten by Liverpool. Leeds on just under the guidance of the late great Terry Venables, had a magnificent chance to reach the semi-finals for the first time since 1987, and they put on one of the poorest performances I've ever seen from a Leeds United side. The boos at the end were horrific. They were nearly as bad as the boos against Rochdale in the FA Cup in 2013-2014 under Brian McDermott when it was vitriolic at Scotland. And we've not had a cup quarterfinals in 21-22. It's amazing, isn't it, when you think about it? For a team of Leeds stature to not have got to the last day of the FA Cup since 2002, 2003. And before then, I think you have to go back to 97, 98, which is just bewildering. And to have only won the Cup once as well is incredible. And I know we had a couple of near misses, ironically, against Chelsea in 1970. Liverpool in 65 and still in 73 in a game. I still don't know how we lost, having watched the highlights. But on this occasion, the league is more important than the game against Chelsea on Wednesday evening.
Neil Warnock has 4 championship promotions and 4 other promotions. And
that's correct.
Rad Music says that if he gets promoted with Leeds, that would leave him 1 off of Warnock. So 1 to tie Warnock's championship promotions. He has 2 under his belt as well. And a horrendous joke from Gordon White in the chat says, have you seen that Liverpool have just been tested for Calpol? Off the back of their babies winning yesterday. That's a fantastic joke. Thanks, mate. Yeah. You should be imprisoned for that. You really should. That's shocking. Right. Anything else stats that we need to know before tomorrow's game? Wednesday's game.
Press conference. Leeds haven't met Chelsea in the FA Cup since 1970, ironically, when obviously we battered them in the first game at Wembley, and then got kicked off the field in the replay at Old Trafford. I think Ron Chopper Harris had an unbelievable game and kicked Leeds left, right and centre. We've never beaten Chelsea in 6 games in the FA Cup. We haven't won at Stamford Bridge since December the 19th, 1999. Pass like it's 1999 when a Stephen McPhail double, brilliant left foot, cultural left foot to Stephen McPhail. And we're in London. So all goes to one thing. really. But yeah, it's not a game I'm expecting a strong team at, and it's not a game that I think will progress because there is bigger fish to fry come the end of the season.
Yeah, we talk about momentum, and momentum is important. But for me, the momentum is the performance, not necessarily the result against Chelsea. A good performance keeps Leeds ticking over, keeps Leeds moving. As we said before, it's a big night. Jayden Anthony will probably start in that game as well. It'll be a big night for him to get more minutes under his belt. You know, Connor Roberts, we've already talked about as well. Maybe our, Charlie Creswell gets a run out, but Liam Cooper will as well. There's a lot of players will want to be involved in the running for Leeds.
Yeah.
This will be their chance. So you'll get a bump in one sense.
Yeah.
But Chelsea have a lot to prove as well. Look, as long as we come out of this game unscathed, no injuries, nothing silly, we'll be fine. That's the most important thing.
Yes, do agree there. And I think, as I say, the bigger game is Sunday lunchtime. A game I'm already looking forward to against Huddersfield Town because they'll want to do well. It's the new manager's first home game. They got a victory against Watford on Saturday. So it's always a big game, the Huddersfield Town game. But it's one we'll look forward to later on in the week.
A big shout out to Alex from American Leeds Podcast there in the chat as well. Alex, hope you're doing well, mate. Go check Alex out on the American Leeds Podcast. He's got some good content this week as well. So go check Alex out. Hope you're doing well, mate. It's been too long since we've talked to each other, but I hope you're doing well. That's going to probably bring us to the end, folks. We've kind of covered it off. Stats, thanks as always. Really appreciate you coming in.
Anytime, love doing it.
To us as well. Yeah. Come check it, guys. Thanks for checking us out. People keep asking me to promote someone else's YouTube channel in the chat. I don't know the guy. I'm not going to keep promoting other people's channels. So, sorry. I don't know. I don't know the man. So
exactly.
But every week the same person keeps putting in, check this guy's channel out. We should stop doing that because,
yes.
Trying to do my own thing here, folks.
Exactly.
Oh, we got a raid. We've got a raid. Thanks, Justin. Thanks very much for coming in. We're going to wrap up now, though. We're going to finish. We're going to move on. Stats, as I said, massive thanks, as always, for popping in and for giving us your detail, as always. And to everybody else who supports and watches the channel, massive thank you, as always. Really, really appreciate it. Back tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. Today's news is floating around. Some rumors. There's also some lovely, lovely feedback on Darko JB's loan with Plymouth at the moment. Ian Foster waxing lyrical about Darko JB's performances recently, playing as a number 10 as well, which is really, really interesting to see. The position he didn't really play in for Leeds. So if you want to check that out, the video is in the channel. You can go check it out. It should be the main video on the homepage of the channel. And I said back tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. Stats will be back during the week for the Huddersfield preview.
Yes, I'm probably looking at Wednesday, Thursday. Probably Thursday, actually, because we've got the Chelsea game on Wednesday. And we'll have a better idea of what the team selection will look like ahead of the big Yorkshire derby. And finally, a couple of things I just want to publicise. I've got my book coming out, all being well, in June, which is on Leeds United Friendlies, The Hidden Games, which has taken a lot to research. And I've got a big charity event coming up at Ellen Road on March the 27th for the Leeds United Foundation. We're doing a quiz night. I will talk more about that nearer the time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just a shout out for another person who we actually do some work with as well. Rocco Dean has a new book coming out very, very soon. Legend. Go check out Rocco's Twitter. It's a new book about Don Reevy, so go check that out. There's information on pre-bookings and all that kind of stuff. And Stats, when we get some visuals on yours, make sure we'll stick it on the channel and make sure everyone knows about when your book is coming out as well. No doubt it'll be a fantastic read. Right, we're gone. Thanks very much. See you soon.